Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to DavidPlays. My name is David and today we're playing a new game. New game alert! The beginner's guide. Begin the game. Let's do it. So this game is from the creator of the Stanley Parable. Please make sure audio is on. Audio is on. I'm listening. I'm paying attention to the controls. Awesome. So we played the Stanley Parable recently and that was so much fun.
Hi
This is
there.
by...
Thank you very much for playing the beginner's guide. My name is Davey Wreden. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Kota. Now these games mean a lot to me. I met Kota in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Kota learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Kota.
But what I like
Doesn't sound like a real name.
Starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town. He then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person.
Wow.
And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Kota's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
I feel like Kota is himself.
It's 2008. Kota starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet. He just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
He's talking about himself.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Kota. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Kota's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
November 2008. Yeah, this guy is definitely talking about himself, and the last game he made, I suppose, was the Stanley Parable. I don't know. Whoa! Warning! Whisper machine status active. Evacuate immediately. Woo! Oh, no sounds of bullets.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Kota.
Okay. No way here. No way through. I love the narrator. I love the narrator on the Stanley Parable, and it almost feels like a friend. It almost feels like playing a game with a friend, you know?
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
All right. So wait.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere.
I was
but
thinking
then
just
clearly
that.
There are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh, really?
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Kota thought that actually it was complete the way that it is.
What the hell?
And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin
Okay.
evacuation.
Oh, I see something here. The door opened.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
This is beautiful. What is that? Some kind of a galaxy right down there? Are these galaxies or stars? I don't know. Looks beautiful though. Oh, the universe, isn't it wonderful? Wonderful and wondrous at the same time. Alright. Alright, Kota. What surprises do you get?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Alright, where's my gun? Oh.
Hey, you there, in the engine room.
Yeah?
You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could
No.
you give yourself?
Sure, whatever.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Kota had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Mm-hmm. So there's a bug, meaning that I won't die this time? Ew. Ew. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Ooh, I like this bug.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Kota identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. November 2008. The past was behind her. This starting to feel like, oh, what?
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Really? You little... okay. Okay, so I'm gonna... Okay. This is actually kind of cool. I like it. And I see a lot of Stanley Parable in it. I love the Stanley Parable. So this is... What?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Kota's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep changing? Ooh. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Ooh, I'm liking this. But if the future is always behind her... Oh man, this would be a great concept for a horror game. How will she find the strength? The strength for what? To confront it? Oh no. Whoa, a Slenderman or
It's a
something?
short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
That was a game. That was... Oh, Slenderman! That was not a game, that was, a screensaver, I don't know. You are now entering... Oh man, I don't want to get into the debate of what's a game and what isn't. Okay, so apparently I can only go forward now. I guess I can go back. But, I'll go this way. This is scary. Slenderman, save me. I mean,
that's it.
Get away from me.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
I hate this. December 28, 2028.
Oftentimes, Kota would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
What did it say? I missed it. Something... Did it say something about nonsense?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here.
Gosh darn
Sorry.
it. Fine, I'll follow the freaking stairs. I like this. I like the mood here. Makes me feel like I'm in a journey by myself. Yeah. Oh, it's getting harder.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Kota's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Stand on X, start you run, shop inside your own body, select a stranger appears. The game is nothing but giant blocks of text explaining what's happening.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
You play as a loud, bodiless sound, walking
Kota would
around
often
confusing
tell
people.
me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You are a gate. A series of lavish manuals come with the game, giving you incorrect instructions on how to play. Wait, was that a Stanley Parable? No. Ready, set, fish. What do you have here?
Well, this is new for Kota. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
It's a lever! Yay! What? Oh, there's a puzzle here? What the hell? Wait. What is this nonsense? What? I need to think. I actually need to think. Dang it. What could this possibly mean? So there's a door here. Okay. What now? Ooh, look at that.
Don't forget that
so
solution,
smart.
because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Dang it.
We're gonna see it a lot.
Dang it. I'm gonna totally forget it. I know it. Okay. Okay, what if, no, nothing here, okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Holy what? The hell is this?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I have no idea. Here we go again. I swear if there's like jump scares.
Aha.
You are now
So
exiting.
This, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Kota believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Loading March 2009. The Great and Lovely Descent. Well, I mean, just don't leave me too in the dark because I will lose interest. You know, if you keep it, there has to be like a balance between mystery and sense. Like,
let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Lovely
to make
place.
all of these games, Kota is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Kota's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Oh, I actually like this.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Kota's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Alright, what do we have here? Ooh. I like this. Ah, dang it. There's like a wall here. What is this, a metro station? Gotta catch the train. What is this? A farm? I gotta say, these corridors are pretty lovely. I like them. Oh, dang it. Now what? Oh my goodness. What's going on here? Is this a prison?
This prison, funny enough, in Kota's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. I guess you can.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Kota is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
You need to close the door behind you before you move forward into the next room or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's like two different. I mean, you can create an art gallery, or you can create like a novel. I feel like those are just two very different things. You there? Did you come from up above?
Here, Kota begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating color blocks. That's what I'm gonna look for. That's the world above. You've been there. Now, this is important. Do you have to go through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through the puzzle. I prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. And I'm gonna go with 1, I guess. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember. I just solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Three? I don't know. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Okie doke. Nice meeting you. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. Who are you? Just hang out there in that blackness for a bit. You may not like it at first, but it will grow on you eventually. Alright. This game is definitely not as funny as the Stanley Parable.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Final floor. Ooh. This is from the title screen.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Kota fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okie doke. Loading, April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Okie doke. Nice room. Not. So these are the notes by other players?
First off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Kota. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Kota often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Kota's games so much. is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. That's what I like about the Stanley Parable. But this game is more about explaining everything and painting. What does it mean? I feel like it's a little too ambiguous, a little too not grounded. And you know, you can only be ambiguous. I feel like ambiguous, is that a thing? Should be used sparingly, like otherwise people lose interest.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Kota's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Kota can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
I'm not sure you explaining something makes it interesting. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, speak, speak. I don't know. I don't feel like porn stars die too. I don't feel like
this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
I don't feel like explaining a metaphor makes it interesting. Mind at the club, ready to party.
See, this is it, the whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Kota gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Is this a ring? What the hell? What furniture ought to go in the corner of the room? How about... put a giant hole in the middle. Okay, now about along the wall of the room. 10 stoves. Nothing is happening then. Whatever. What's with the low texture over there? I think we should lighten up this room a bit. This is I don't think. Okay, is that what I actually chose? And table. You need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? There you go. The table. Oh snap.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. The guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Oh, this is a beautiful room. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click something something. Now turn the floor lamp. Okay. Now turn the floor lamp in this room, then turn it back on. Okay. Now go to the left sofa side, move it a little. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Return to prison, I guess.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
I wasn't escaping in the first place.
There are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Kota doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Is the lamppost again? But why do you like it? What about it you like? Do you like? Why is this better? What does this tell us about you? Maybe you're a crazy person? I don't know. Slenderman, is that you? Hello, who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the future furniture maze.
And so this is what Kota wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Kota talking to himself.
So they're not really games, are they? They're just experiments. Inner reflections. I'm not even looking at the answers I'm given because I don't care. It doesn't seem to affect anything I do. Yes, I did get the hole. That's how I escaped. They just talk to me for a while. I don't know. Just going through the motions. I will be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay.
That person being yourself. Nice? Why do I trust this person? I didn't trust this person on the phone. I didn't know who it was.
So what would it look like if Kota wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Okay. So
to me, this environment is meant to represent Kota's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Just gonna skip the house. Go straight to the end.
Just so you're aware, nothing will happen up here until you've been inside the house.
Oh, it's that guy. The listen, speak person. Beautiful house, I gotta say. I wouldn't mind it. Clean, clean, clean. Whoa, my goodness! I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Thought I might be cleaning this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Okie doke. There you go, clear the table. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Okay, but what are you doing? I mean, you gonna do anything at any point? There we go, beautiful, isn't it? While you're in day, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? Okay. There we go. Look at all these books. They look like real books. Pillows in the sofa. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it special, especially cheesy, please. No. Okay, fine. No, it was stupid. Never mind. Hey, dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Why don't you do it? Gonna wash your face. Gonna wash your butt. No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Are we? Are we though? Is there anything else you want me to do? Can I leave now? No, I can't. Oh, what the hell was that? Books scattered. There you go. What?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Kota really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
I was going to say, it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't worry why I felt so weird about saying that. Sure, there's a bit of truth to that, isn't it? Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
I mean, I'm glad he liked it. Doesn't mean I like it. Question.
But, of course, it can't last.
Yeah.
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave.
Just
the door
as
at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
he was about to tell, he asked me if I was liking this, enjoying this.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
But that September 2009 came along. It tempts you love at... How did you come here today? Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, whoa, this person is a better human being than I am right now. Who do you think about that way in your life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. The question is now not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
Shifts.
Being perfect is effortless. Mr. Fahrenheit, coming April 2016. The question is not how we...
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Listen. You understand that you won't be happy until you love me. This is for you. There is no truth. There is no path. Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Feel what is true. Everyone run. Run!
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Kota to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
The lights are on. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this screen, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out learning, leaning against this wall. Okay. Good, stay right there. The one across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. Is it your dream to photograph animals professionally? You're happy. I want to be happy like you. Hello. How are you? That's not a conversation. Whatever. Everyone's a critic. Wise, successful, focused, happy. I like you. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved. I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel for the setting. So a lot of people around you. I give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you now talk to her. Okay. I'll bet you've learned to lean into the pain. What does that even mean? You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it up again. Am I now? You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personally that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? You'll never get another... I want to try... Okay, try stepping back from the stage. End of the level. Should I just continue? It's a prison again. Okay, yes, this is working.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Kota's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Kota is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Kota's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Kota went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. Mobius Strip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Blind. What's going on? Blind. Captain, what can we do? Help, I'm blind. Someone enormous just appeared on the radar. Why did I go blind? I can't see. This is a giant door. SS whisper. I am blind. It's the door to the next level. Okay, is this some kind of puzzle?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Truth. The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making this. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. Awesome. Perfect.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Kota where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Yeah.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. Where am I? Ooh. Hello, is there anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why I stopped. I can take you to it.
If the last game featured Kota talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Yes, he so he's explained the metaphor again. That was simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Alright. Ah, that feels wonderful. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. Yes, that's wonderful, keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Yes, more. Keep going.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop.
You needed
After
that?
finishing this one, Kota takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. The machine. Ooh. Guard. Hey, ma'am. Glad to see you have arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Kota. Oh snap. Out of my way, paparazzi. What will you do with it? Why do that? Why? How? Do whatever. The machine. Kota, Kota, Kota.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stop feeding us. It's only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. So here's what happens. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. No? Nothing? Think carefully, I know how to hurt you. I have seen the thing you fear. Alright then, I will speak to them for you. Alright, paparazzi, this is the deal. You guys are not getting any of what you want. And it's all Kota's fault. Fails to deliver the bad news. I have a troubling relation. I want to know what this relation is. I have no idea. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it literally hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show that we are not failures. Let us pay it retribution. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. I didn't even read the second option. It's the stage again. Woo! Woo! We're destroying the machine, I guess. This is the machine. Kota, I will make sure your work dies. Isn't that what you were scared of? Having to live without the precious creations.
Is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Kota to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Destroy it all. It's the door.
So I started showing Kota's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I'm still afraid of Slenderman. It's the end of the level. Put down your weapon. Ooh!
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it if I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Sounds like the words of an insane man.
So anyway, Kota finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Kota's. This one is called The Tower. And to my knowledge, it's the last game that Kota ever made.
Oh, snap.
So let's take a look.
Loading June 2011. The Tower. There we go. Is this the final level? Are we about to finish the game?
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Kota's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Holy moly.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Enter. Man, I mean, how many people have suffered paralytic attacks because of those flashing lights? What the hell?
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Kota has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Ah. Oh, I almost clicked again. Okay. 1. And this is a 6. 1, 7. There we go. Right? Dang it! Now what? Reminds me of the mines of Moria.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And
Go
it's
with the first
scary for
challenge?
me, the idea of Kota cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Fix the problem, damn it!
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
I wonder at times whether you think I'm making these games for you.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
He's the one who added lampposts.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
I realize it doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Told you there was a train station. Alrighty then. I don't get it.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Oh, look. An actual train in the train station. I wasn't expecting that. Can I get on? Is this like the end of Harry Potter? I can decide to get on or just stay here forever. But I will get on because I want to finish the story. Is that it? Jesus. Oh. Missed this. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful train. If only for the fact that it doesn't have any windows.
Solution.
Ooh, beautiful villa here thingy. Alrighty.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Walking Simulator 2016.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Okay.
What now?
You have to bring me along for this ride, though.
I think I need to go.
Alright then.
And
talk to you later.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Goodbye. Nice knowing ya. Door frames with no doors in them. Prison Simulator 2016. Let me out. Train station again. You know, if only I walked faster. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Is that a thing where you sacrifice yourself from the beginning? The glitch. An infinite maze. The universe.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave, let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles.
Oh, copyright. Copyright. Oh, let's skip this. Skip this. Yeah, that was a short song. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out the previous video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter and Snapchat. But most importantly, explain this game to me in the comments. Is this a story about a game developer who stole all his ideas from someone else and he felt guilty about it and I don't know. I don't know what this is. It's interesting. It's intriguing. I just feel like something someone made for themselves. Like, is there an expectation for other people to get it? Because I don't. Well, that's that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye!